Welcome to the Hormone Hub, your go-to source for the conversations every woman in her 40s and 50s needs to have. I'm your host, Kylie Pinwill, your nutritionist helping you navigate your way through perimenopause, menopause and beyond so you can say goodbye to the endless fatigue, unexplained weight gain, hot flushes, PMS, mood changes and more that come on this hormonal roller coaster. If you missed the memo or think this is only for women of a certain age, ladies, it's time to think again. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my latest episodes, which are released every week. Share it with your friends, your sweaty sisters. The more we talk, the more we help each other. Hello, everyone. It is Kylie here, and we are back for part 2 of our Hormone series. So just to quickly recap, we talked about hormones, we talked about the profound effect that they can have on us mentally, physically, and emotionally. Now, today we are going to have a look at what some of those drivers of how we end up with a hormone imbalance. And we're also going to have a look at how stress impacts us. And we're also going to have a look at our poor little thyroid and how that impacts us as well. Alrighty. So the thing is, with today's busy lifestyles, we and I think women in general have this extraordinary capacity just to push through. We are very capable and we just take on more and more on our plates. And it's not until the wheels start falling off that we start to pay attention. Okay, so today I'm going to sort of talk you through why you need to start paying attention and also some of the things you can do as well. All right, so what does stress look like for you? Okay, so is stress, so we think of stress and we think of big things. We think financial stress, divorce, death, moving house, moving country, pandemics, all of these things. These are big life stresses. But our body can't tell the difference between the big stuff and we've forgotten our car keys. We're running late for work. The kid forgot his library books or his footy boots. The dog needs to go to the vet. What the hell are we going to have for dinner tonight? Oh God, my mother-in-law's, I've got to call her back. So all of these things, are also stress. And it's not that they're big life stresses, but it's just the little things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, pretty much 24/7, okay? There's always stuff going on for us. So what happens is when we, have our stress response, so say we're sitting in traffic, the car in front of us stops and we automatically, put our foot on the brake to stop running into them. So that's that surge of adrenaline. So that is what keeps us safe. So it's that big rush of adrenaline, slam on the brake, that instant moves come in and, and then we can go, whew, okay, a few deep breaths to get that down. So we get this surge of adrenaline. And then if you sort of think of cortisol then comes to mop up the adrenaline. All right. But when we have, and that's the way it's supposed to work, it's healthy and it keeps us safe. Now, where it starts to become unhealthy is when we have this stress response constantly because we can't find the keys, the kid needs the footy boots, the mother-in-law needs a call back, the this, the that, the dog, blah, blah, it's all happening. So we've constantly got, because the adrenaline's worn off a long time ago, but we've constantly got this flood of cortisol hanging around our body. Now, to put it very simply, cortisol is a fat storage hormone. I'll say that again. Cortisol is a fat storage hormone, namely around our waist. Okay, so if we think of estrogen as being the hormone that puts it on our bum and our thighs, cortisol, and, we'll get to insulin in a couple of days, but cortisol is the one responsible for that roll around the middle. Okay, so up under your bra line, cortisol. Okay, so, so stress can be big stress, it can be little stress. But, when these simple things in life are causing us this and to put us in this chronic state of stress, this then it catches up with us. It causes fatigue, cravings, mood swings, hormonal imbalances, weight gain, and this is all without us even realizing. We don't pin this back to stress. And stress isn't necessarily going away. This is our life. This is what we do. But unless we learn how to, get a handle on our hormones and change the way our body responds to stress, it's always going to impact us in some form or another. Generally, I see it in energy levels, weight, inability to lose weight, cravings, not being able to sleep, mood swings. This is where I see it in the clients that we work with. So, we need to learn how to support our hormones. We don't need another diet. Okay, and you're going to hear me say that 600 times. Okay, so when we're in that constant fight or flight mode because of stress, what happens is our body, to make all these stress hormones, it needs progesterone. And if we think of it, we talked about yesterday that progesterone is our happy, calming, lovely hormone. Now, if our progesterone's being shunted off to make our stress hormones, we've lost that beautiful, calming, protective layer of progesterone. Then we're going to have low progesterone, and it's going to shoot our estrogen ratio is going to be even higher. So it's going to throw our cycles out. So you can sort of start to see how it impacts. Now, traditionally, stress 100% is designed to keep us safe, that stress response. But if we are running from a tiger, so think of it, we're out in the field, we need to run from the tiger. Okay, so we don't need to stop and do a poo. So our digestive system is going to shut up shop. Okay, so hello, constipation. If we are running from the tiger, we don't need to sleep, lie down and have a good night's sleep. No one needs that. You've got to keep one eye open for that tiger. If we are running from that tiger, we don't need to get frisky with the first guy we see because the tiger, So hello, goodbye, libido. If we are running from that tiger and we don't know what's on the other end, is there going to be any food there? So let's just hold on to every single mouthful of food that we've eaten in the last few days. Let's just store it around the middle in case there's a famine coming up. So you can kind of you see where I'm going with this, right? So we need to, learn for our body to function well. We need to get on top of our daily stress, remove some if possible, and also, more importantly, change the way we respond to stress. Okay, so every single hormone in every single system of our body is impacted negatively by stress. So that's our nervous system, our digestive system, our immune system, our reproductive system. Stress management needs to become a priority. Okay, so I am really big on this. And when I start to work with women, they come into the Well Balanced Woman program, we chat about what they're doing, and it's not uncommon that they've tried all the things. This Hormone Hub episode is sponsored by our free Hormone Help Call. On the call, we'll give you some clarity around what's causing your symptoms and the 3 simple steps you can start using straight away. If you're ready to take the next step and find out how we can help you, we can talk about that too. So if you're constantly feeling tired, struggling with weight gain, PMS, mood swings, bloating, not sleeping at night, cravings, anxiety, all the things, we're ready to help. If you're ready to ditch those sugar cravings, regain your energy and shift that stubborn weight, then let us help you balance your hormones, reset your metabolism and get your confidence back so you can live the life you're meant to. The link with the details to our Hormone Help Call is in our show notes or over at kyliepinwell.com. So when we are doing, things like fasting, it's another form of stress for our body. Fasting can be great if you are, in a non-stressed state. There can be some good benefits to it. But the problem I see with a lot of women is, they jump in and they start skipping breakfast. So fasting is, just that, I don't need to have breakfast, so I won't eat until lunchtime, but I'll have a cup of coffee, black coffee, because, that counts as the fast. So what we're doing is when we wake up naturally in the morning, our cortisol levels are naturally higher in the morning. Now, this is to get us up out of bed. And likewise, our cortisol levels should be lower at nighttime because that helps us wind down and go to sleep at nighttime. But when our stress hormones are on the go 24/7, we lose that rhythm that they're supposed to be in. So you might have heard me talk about the circadian rhythm. So that's our sleep-wake cycle. So if we're stressed, that's out. If we're fasting, our body that stress exacerbates because it doesn't know when the next meal is coming from. So, that it goes into a heightened stress response. So again, women who've been fasting and it's not working, it can actually backfire because, your body's in that stress state. So it's hanging on to everything else you eat. Likewise with exercise, you need to find exercise, or I prefer to call it movement that works for you. So if you are doing a workout that leaves you falling asleep on the lounge, in the afternoon, or needing a nana nap later on in the day, it's not the right exercise for you. So we need to kind of get out of our heads that we need to do this high intensity exercise. Now, if you can do high intensity exercise, you feel great afterwards and you have all day long lasting energy after that, fantastic, keep going. But if you don't, we need to wind it back. Now, I am a big advocate for moving your body, but you need to move it in a way that it's not going to put it under more stress. So with, stress is a big part of the program, the Well Balanced Woman program. And because we can't always control the amount of stress that we have in our life, but we can control the way we respond to it. And unless we learn to manage this and change this, our body is programmed to protect us. It's programmed to store fat, not burn it. So what can we do? So some of the things that we do is, get outside in nature. It's a natural de-stressor. Take your shoes off, put them in the grass, put them, in the sand, put them, on the earth. We can dance. Like dancing naturally gives us our good endorphins, makes us feel good. If you want to kill two birds with one stone, put on some great 80s music. Teenagers gone just like that every time, especially if you start singing. So, we want to start dancing and, feel good. Cuddling pets has been shown to reduce your stress levels and increase your endorphin levels. Chatting with a good friend, that friend who makes you laugh, those friends are gold. Get on the phone, call those friends. Your stress levels will reduce 100%. So we really need to make it a priority. And, it's also, part of that is like finding you again, like what brings you joy, what lights you up. And this is what I work with a lot of the women in the program is what lights you up. And, quite often like women will sit there and just go, I don't know, I go to work, I look after the kids, I do my things and, and I'll be like, what's your hobby? And then I just get this blank face and it's like, I don't have any hobbies. It's like, okay, well, what did you do? What were your hobbies before you had kids? Oh, well, I used to paint, I used to dance, I used to swim, I used to, all of these things start coming out. So tap back into that because that makes up, we sort of lose our identity along the way because we've got the role of mother, partner, dog mother, friend, daughter, sister, all of these labels that we do, employee, worker, co-worker, colleague, all of these labels that we've got on ourselves, and we become those labels and we forget those pieces inside of us of who we are. So, we want to definitely tap back into that. So looking after our stress is a big one. Now, another sort of hormone that I really, really want to talk about is our thyroid. So our thyroid is a little tiny gland at the base of our neck, and it controls our metabolism. And every single cell in our body has thyroid receptors. So it's kind of like a big deal. So if you are gaining weight, if you feel the cold, if your hair is falling out, if you have really dry skin, if you feel constipated, if you feel, just slow, tired, fatigued, these are all signs that your thyroid is impacting your metabolism. So even if you don't have a diagnosable thyroid condition, if you are in perimenopause or menopause, let me tell you, your thyroid is 100% affected and compromised no matter what your doctor said. Okay, so your test might be normal. GP might have said, oh, that's fine, it's all good. It's a bit low. We'll wait and see. Like, seriously, what are we waiting for? A diagnosable condition? No, thank you. So the problem with thyroid and when they're measuring thyroid bloods is, they generally only do one thyroid marker. So they'll do TSH. And that just tells us like one piece of the puzzle. We want to know what your T4 is doing. We want to know what your T3 is doing. If you've got family history of autoimmune conditions, you want to be checked for a thyroid autoimmune condition. This is really important and definitely worth pushing for. Now, the problem with thyroid results is, if you sort of think of the bell curve, when we are feeling well and being well, we are in the optimal level. So that's sort of like a really, not a narrow range, but a really sort of tight range. That's where your thyroid's functioning well, you feel well, you're energetic, and everything is going well and healthy. Now, the normal range is super wide. So if you think of the bell curve, and then if you are sitting on the outside of that bell curve, still in the normal range, but on the outside, you're going to be told that everything is normal. But let me tell you, it's not. If you're on the outside, it's not optimal, and you're going to feel like rubbish. This is where women get so frustrated, because we're told, oh, don't worry, everything's normal, but it's not. It's not optimal. So what we want to do, and you're not necessarily at the point of needing a prescription, but unless we do the work to support and balance your thyroid, it's going to be an uphill battle for you. You're working against your metabolism. So what do you think, causes an underactive thyroid? Okay, so if we sort of think, definitely 100% affected by stress every single time. Okay, just being a female, just being a woman, going through perimenopause, like I said, we've got these fluctuations and these decline in our hormones. Our hormones are all linked. It impacts our thyroid. Genetics can play a role. If we've been exposed to heavy metals like mercury, fluoride, chlorine, these can play a role. If we have any nutrient deficiencies, so iodine, zinc, selenium, iron, vitamin D, that can impact our thyroid. If we have any inflammation in our body, and remember back to estrogen, too much estrogen is inflammatory, so that inflammation is going to impact our thyroid. If our digestive system's not working well, we're not absorbing the nutrients from our food, it's those essential nutrients for our thyroid not going to work properly. If our liver function's not working properly, if we're not clearing our excess estrogen, if we're not clearing our excess cholesterol, if we're not, if things are a bit sluggish, our active thyroid hormone is converted in our liver. If it's a bit sluggish, it's not going to happen as effectively as it should be. All right, so these are like big, juicy pieces. So today, we've covered stress, why stress is such a biggie when it comes to hormone imbalances, and also our thyroid. So how, does the hormone imbalance impact our thyroid? Yes. Does our thyroid potentially create a hormone imbalance? Also, yes. So we need to take this holistic approach and, look at, it's not, if you think of diet and exercise are a surface level solution. We need to go deeper, and this is what we do with our clients. We go deeper. How are you responding to stress? How well is your thyroid working? We need to start supporting these. Absolutely. All right. So thank you for listening today. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. You can head on over to the show notes at kyliepinwell.com/podcast, where you'll find all the links, and I have a little bonus surprise waiting for you. Before we go, it would mean the world to me if you head on over to your favourite podcasts channel, subscribe and leave a review. Make sure to screenshot it, DM it to me so I can thank you personally. Then stay tuned for next week's episode. Can't wait to see you then.